Hi, my name's Helen and this is my channel, Helen Mary Jo. If you're new here, then welcome. If you're returning, thank you. And if you're a Hell's Bell, hello. Now, I still haven't got my bar stools back, but I'm going to tell you what's going on there. And today's video is kind of been stitched together because you'll see why I couldn't film it all in one go. So this is the video that I referred to in a previous video. I can't remember which one, where I talked about when I say money saving, you know, a lot of the time, if you've got no money, it's much harder to save money, because if you've got no money, you can't buy in bulk and you can't travel to the furthest supermarket that's got the best deals. You know, it's a cruel fact of life that those with the least often have the hardest time of it. And I won't pretend to have ever been poverty stricken, but I know that I have been penalised when I've had no money, when, you know, everything, charges go onto your bank account because you missed a payment and the debt keeps going up. So let me just say from the get-go, I'm luckily, very luckily, not in that position now. And I know some people will say, well, you've worked hard to get there. I haven't worked particularly hard. Yes, Rob has worked incredibly hard all his life, but he was a tradesman and they have a ceiling to what they can earn. You know, he was never in corporate life, which is where you really earn the big bucks. And he did have a business, but that was very difficult. That's not who he is. He's not really designed to be a businessman. It's not his nature. It's not the way he was brought up. And so most of our lives, there has been a good helping of luck. And I would say that starts with the luck of being born in a country with free education and free healthcare. You know, you could start that far back. Luck to have two parents that loved each other and gave us a solid home life with good food. Mum often had to stretch food to make it cover. Imagine 6 children. I'm not poor-mouthing it. I'm not poor-mouthing it at all. I am very, very privileged. There's many people with more privilege than me, but there's probably more people with less privilege than me. And I'm fully aware of that before everyone gets on my case. You know, I'm just sharing with you a few things that I do because I think I said previously, I like to get value for money. I like to get the best I can for whatever I am buying, so that I feel like no one has kind of got the better of me, really. And yeah, I don't really know how to describe it, but I'll just share with you a few of the things I do that make me feel better about all these things. My number one tip for everybody, I don't know if it applies if you're overseas, but Martin Lewis, who is the money saving expert, that's his website, Money Saving, and I will put the link down below. He has been my guru and go-to for many, many, many years. And he fights the big establishments to ensure that the little people don't get done over. And he is an extremely decent individual, very, very decent. And in my opinion, he should be knighted. You know, why a singer gets knighted for earning millions of pounds and entertaining people, when somebody like him, who has saved people from absolute poverty and advised people and given so many fabulous tips and fought fights for people where things have been done wrong, basically. So anyway, I don't want to get on a big old high horse about that. So I always, if I want to know anything, if there's something going on with a claim or PPI or whatever, Money Saving Expert is my first stop. So that's number one. Then number two is I buy everything I can either on my American Express or my Barclaycard. And the reason I do this is because A, I'm covered if anything goes awry, like it did with the, what was it, Georgia Asda. I bought those clothes on American Express and they gave me my money back immediately, and then they took it up with Asda. I haven't heard any more. And equally, the cruise that we're going on in November, I asked for the price without the flights, and I was able to pay for our flights using Avios points that I had accumulated with my American Express and Barclaycard. They both give Avios points. So I use them for everything. Not everywhere takes American Express, which is why I've got the Barclaycard that I can use anywhere, because that's just a MasterCard. So I do pay for the American Express. I think it's 150, 190 pounds a year. I don't know, but that's more than accommodated or made up for by the flights situation. So I always pay on a credit card, and I always pay it off in full. You must pay it off in full each month. Never ever let it tip into the interest, because you'll get huge interest charges, and then really the whole point of saving money has disappeared. What else? I always have the loyalty cards, and I sign up for those things. I have a pouch extension on my browser, which will show me if there's any discount codes available. If it doesn't, and there's a box when you're buying something that says discount code, I will search on Google for a discount code, or I will just leave the purchase alone, and quite often the company will come back to you with the discount code. Just do them as routine. And you know, my mum says sometimes, oh, I don't know how you can be bothered. Well, for the sake of a 20-second email, I will be bothered, thanks mum. So there's that. Then what else do? I bulk cook. So you saw me make the braising steak, and we've had, in fact, I'm defrosting some of that today for our dinner this evening. And I find that making things in the slow cooker is the cheapest way of cooking anything, better even than the air fryer. I always use the air fryer wherever I can instead of the oven, because I hate turning the oven on because the light goes red on my smart meter, and I hate that. It's like an affront to me. So you will see in this video where I've done a piece of gammon, which I do probably every other week, every 3 weeks. And I cook a big piece of gammon in the slow cooker, just with sugar in the bottom of the slow cooker, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. You don't need any liquid. On high for an hour, on low for probably 5 or 6 hours, and it's cooked through, and that will keep in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. And you know, that's so versatile and cheaper than packet ham probably, and much, much better, because you know what it is. It's not processed. Well, it's processed in as much as it was smoked, but it's not got any chemicals in it or anything like that. So that's kind of how I do those things, and how I try and stretch our money as far as it will go. And I always look for discounts. I always look for loyalty codes. I will always sign up. I've got 3 different emails plus Rob's email, which I will use if you're going to get something as a new customer. And Rob goes, why am I getting all these emails about, you know, some female clothing range? And I just unsubscribe from his email then. But you know, all of those things, I always look every time there's something needs renewing, whether it's insurance. I use a comparison site. You know, I'm not lazy about that stuff. I really am tenacious about that stuff. And equally, that allows me to splurge. So I'm going to share with you, this is a splurge. And as you know, I have mentioned it, I haven't gone on about it. A few years ago, the children clubbed together for my birthday and bought me a beautiful Gucci bag, which I absolutely love. And I wanted a Gucci purse. And they're silly money. I mean, they really are silly money. But I kept looking and looking and looking. And then I found this one on eBay. And this is secondhand, reconditioned Gucci purse. It's absolutely perfect for what I need, because nowadays you don't have a lot of coins, do you? It's got the slots for the pocket, for the cards. It's got a wallet part here. And this was £145. I know that's a lot of money for a purse, but it's not a lot of money for a Gucci purse. These purses, I think they're about maybe £400. I don't know. But they're a lot more than 145. I know that for a fact. And you can't even tell that it's secondhand. There is nothing about this that would let you know that it was secondhand. It's in perfect condition. It's been, reconditioned by the seller, and I love it. It fits perfectly into my bag, and I've got easy access to my cards, which at the end of the day is what I use the most. So by all that penny pinching, I know some people just have to penny pinch to put food on the table. I know that. I've done that. But by my penny pinching, I feel justified in the occasional splurge purchase, because Rob doesn't buy me birthday presents or Christmas presents anymore, because he never gets it right, really. If I want something, I buy it myself, and I'll just say, that's my birthday present, or that's my Christmas present. Or do you know what? I actually work really hard now on this YouTube channel, and obviously I earn money doing that. So if I want to buy myself something lush, I will. And that, on this occasion, was this purse. And you know what? It's kind of sustainable too, isn't it? Because this is going around, you know. And actually, I could probably get as much for this now as I paid for it on the day. And so it's kind of almost an investment. That's maybe pushing it a bit, but I love it. And, you know, at the end of the day, it makes me happy. Now, I have told you ladies before that I am not great with charity shopping, because I don't know, I'm just not really very good at it. Up until this, I had only ever bought one thing in a charity shop, and that was when I was in Lymington, which, you know, has got some very high-end properties around there, so, and sailing community, so, you know, you could say it's kind of high-end. And I was waiting for my mum to have her cataracts done at the hospital, and I was browsing around, and I went into a charity shop, and there was an aquascutum raincoat there, which costs a fortune, and I got that for £50, and I still have that in the cupboard, and it will never ever go out of date. And that was until the other day, and Katie and I were in our local town, and she likes a charity shop. She goes in quite often. And I saw this, and this was brand new. It's never been worn. It's only from £2 at Sainsbury's. It's not fancy, but it was just £2. And I just thought, well, £2, that can't go wrong, can it? And I love orange now. I like wearing orange. And I've got 2 other pieces to show you. And so even somebody like me can find something in a charity shop. And they were lovely in there. And plus, they said, if you don't like it when you get home and try it on, just bring it back and we'll give you a refund. And so I'll show you those 2 pieces now, and then I will kind of show you the stitch to get together video of some cooking and, yeah, just some cooking, I think. So I know it's a little bit long-winded and a little bit different to what I usually do, but, you know, I like to bring you different content. I've often said about this, I've said to my kids to do this. I think it's a great way to make money go further. I suppose that's what I mean, isn't it? I mean, for money to go further. So I have bought this piece of gammon. I don't know if it's called gammon everywhere, but it's basically a bacon joint. And this is a smoked gammon joint that's boneless. And it's £6.25 per kilo, which is cheaper than sausages, a good decent sausage, and this was £13.88. So I am going to cook this in my slow cooker, and all I'm going to do, I've got a big slow cooker here. I've got 3 of these actually, because if I'm catering a party or anything, I quite often do a big kind of chili, maybe a meat chili, a vegetable chili, and rice or something, and I'll use all 3 slow cookers. I know, but they were like 20 quid each, I think. So I'm going to put 2 heaped teaspoons of brown sugar. This is light brown sugar. It doesn't have to be brown sugar, but that's what I use. That's all I'm putting in here. There's no liquid going in here at all. And I haven't got my second camera, so I'm just going to take the wrapping off. Dolly will come sniffing around in about 30 seconds flat. You wait. That dog can smell meat. You can smell an unopened packet of meat being got out the fridge. So I've taken that wrapping off, and then I'm going to take the net off. Now, I never used to take the net off, but it says to take the net off. And I do find that it helps. So you just have to pull it away from the skin. And then I'm just going to cut it. Otherwise, if you leave the string on, when it's cooked, a lot of the meat comes off with the string, I've found. So basically, what I'm going to do with this piece of gammon is see how many meals I can get out of this piece of gammon. So that's just gone down, meat side down, not skin side down, into the slow cooker. Like so. And I'm going to put this, I always do this with anything I'm cooking in the slow cooker. I put it on for an hour on high just to get the temperature there, and then I put it on low. And what time is it now? 1 o'clock. So I will do this on an hour on high, so that'll be 2 o'clock, and then 4 hours on low. I think it will be cooked by then. It's easy to tell because when you put a knife in, you can feel the resistance, and hopefully that's what we'll have for dinner tonight. If not, it can carry on cooking. I've got something else we can have. So this is the cooked gammon, all there. No water or anything in the pot and in the slow cooker, and there it's cooked perfectly. So I'm just going to slice off what we want for our meal this evening. There's Donny's nose coming into the picture, and tonight we're just going to have this with mash, carrots and peas. That's the peas beeping in the microwave, and you can see how much meat is left there now for the other days. I'm just going to cut a piece off this side because this is the nicest bit. That's the cook's privilege. And then I will do a variety of menus with that this week. So I just thought I'd show you how the gammon cooks. That's been in for 5 hours. Right, so I'm back in the kitchen and I am just using up the last of the gammon. Now, what I said at the beginning was how many meals I could get out of this piece of gammon. So I think it cost me about £13 something. I mean, I tell you at the beginning of this video. And we had it just like, I think in America you call this a ham, but we call it gammon here. So it's boiled bacon basically, and I cooked it in the slow cooker for about 6 hours, and that gives you the tenderest gammon cooked. I mean, a slow cooker uses the same amount of power as a light bulb, so you couldn't cook it more cheaply than that. And then we had it with a mash and veg, and then we had it with egg and chips. We had it for 2 lots of sandwiches. So let's call that 2 meals, but it was 4 sandwiches. And then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm putting this pie together, which will feed at least 6 people. And so that's 12 meals out of 1 piece of gammon, which was about £13. So, you know, obviously I'm adding things to it. I'm not saying that's the meal in itself, but I just wanted to illustrate what a good value thing it is to do, and very versatile. I mean, I have cubed the last of it up. There's nearly, I think there's £1.10 of gammon here cubed, and that is a generous amount for this pie, but I would rather be generous than kind of scrimpy. I hate that, you know. I hate it when you feel that you don't get kind of any meat in the food that you're eating when it's supposed to be a ham and egg pie. So I'm using shop bought pastry, but of course you can use your own. I'm using this foiled dish, which I have saved from, I think it was a Costco meal, and I find they're so useful because they come out clean, and once I've used it for this one, I'll probably throw it away. And I will have to cook this in the oven because it's too big for my air fryer. Now, the other thing I'm showing you today is this grater, which I absolutely love. The link will be in the description box, and I'm using this. I'm just going to get a bowl actually to put this cheese into. I've got about 4 ounces of cheese here that's going to be added in to this pie, and I love this grater. It's so easy, no work at all, and it kind of locks onto the worktop. So it's one of my better buys. You know, not all of these gadgets you get are as good as you hope they will be, but this one is. So again, if when I'm putting this in it feels like there's too much cheese, I will just put that into a little airtight box in the fridge. There's a lot of cheese there. It's amazing, isn't it, when it's grated, how far it goes. So I'll just unlock that to tip it out. So there's a good bowl of cheese there. So I will just put that into the sink. So that's the cheese there. Now, this is the tin that I'm using, I've just shown you. I guess you're all going to ask me the measurements, so I'll let you know. You can do it, you know, you can do it in a round tin if you prefer. This is 12.5 inches wide by long by 8 inches wide. And I'm just going to, there's a bit of water on the worktop here. Bit of cheese. Dolly's hovering, she loves cheese. Throw that out the door for her. And then what I tend to do is I use shortcrust pastry on the bottom and puff pastry on the top, because that's just our preference. You can use whatever pastry you like. If you want to just make your own shortcrust pastry, that's absolutely fine. But as I say, I find I do one of these gammon joints about every 3 weeks, because obviously you just get sick of the same thing otherwise all of the time. But it really does. It's so versatile. You know, you can mix it with chicken for pasta. You know, you can do basically the same sauce that I did the other day with the cream cheese, with some couple of breasts of chicken and some cubes of the bacon. Give you a nice pasta dish. And I think this is going to be a bit narrow. I'm going to have to grab a rolling pin just to make this wider. There's plenty to play with this. It's fine there. It just needs rolling out a smidgen to fit into the bottom of the tin. So I'm just going to go and grab the rolling pin. It's very handy, this pastry being on the paper already, although I do think I'm going to get into difficulties in a minute because it's going to go off the edge. But Yeah, I think that'll just about do it. So I'll just put it onto my rolling pin like so. Just in there. Just going to gently put that into the sides. I mean, there's lots of give in here. I've just managed to put a hole in it, but I can patch that up, no problem. And then what's very convenient about this pie is that it is cream cheese mixed with the eggs for the filling. So I have fried up 1 onion, I use frozen, and 1 clove of garlic, I use frozen, just to put into the bottom of this pie. Scatter that around a bit. I haven't made this for years, if I'm honest with you. This was one of Mum's favourites she used to do for us, usually after Christmas. You know, when you've got that big piece of gammon that you don't know what to do with. And what's unusual about it really is that the eggs go in whole. So that's the onion in there. Then I'm going to scatter over the grated, this is just a mature cheddar cheese. Nothing special, just packs in the flavour. I'd rather have it flavoursome than bland. Now I'm going to add the gammon. And if it looks like there's too much, then as I say, I'll just put the excess into an airtight tub in the fridge. You could add some chives to this, or any other herbs you like really. Yeah, there is going to be too much, so that's what's left, so that can do another meal. Or if you had pastry left over, it could do another little pie that you put in the freezer for another day. This gammon, according to Google, can be stored in the fridge safely for 2 weeks once it's cooked. So that's the filling. Now to add the eggs. I'm just going to make kind of a little hole there. You just break the eggs whole into the pie. Just make like a little wall around them. There's 6 of us having this for supper, so oops, 6 eggs in there, preferably without the shells. Do the same there and the same there, so there's like a little nest for the eggs. I haven't decided what I'm going to serve this with because it's the children coming for dinner, so I'll ask them what their preference is. Oh, I mixed, so the mixture I'm about to add, the egg and cream cheese. So this is 200 grams of cream cheese mixed with 4 eggs. It's a very rich and filling pie, as you can see. And then I'm just going to add puff pastry top. Dolly's back again, sitting around my legs. Every time I open a packet, that dog appears. I let this come out at room temperature before I started making the pie, so that it kind of, sorry, I'm a bit short for space here because I'm also making a cake in 2 seconds, so. Pastry underneath there is a bit short, so I'm just going to fold that over to make sure it adheres to the pastry underneath. Trim this off. I mean, if you have to feed a family, making a gammon of the weekend, you know, cooking the gammon in a slow cooker, then you've got so much meat to use for sandwiches and packed lunches, you know, for pasta or, sorry, I've suddenly got a runny nose from nowhere. I'm absolutely fine, but. So, you know, it looks homemade because it is homemade. And that is the pie ready to go in the oven. I will do an egg glaze on it just before I bake it, but that will easily feed 6 people, if not more in actual fact. So just wanted to show you that quickly, and then I'll clear the decks and make the cake. Right, so now I'm just going to quickly throw together a lemon cake before the children come in from school, a lemon loaf cake, and this is the usual that I do with 6 ounces of baking fat, margarine in this case, 6 ounces of sugar, 6 ounces of flour. I use plain flour with a teaspoon of baking powder added and 3 eggs. So I did soften this in the microwave, and I did soften it a bit too much, but that's fine. It won't actually affect the end result. So in goes 6 ounces. I just use granulated sugar because it's cheaper. And if it's kind of a finer cake, then I would just blitz it in the food processor to make caster sugar, if that, I thought that was needed really. That's my basis. And just see how it goes basis. So like I say, that's 6 ounces of flour with the teaspoon of baking powder added, and then 3 eggs. I mean, honestly, it couldn't be easier, could it? I'm going to be cooking it in my new chef-free twin drawer air fryer. Whenever I can, I cook cakes in there because it's the cheapest way of doing it rather than putting the oven on. So I'm just giving this jolly good mix. That's it, more or less done. I mean, honestly, that's taken less than 2 minutes. Obviously, I weighed the ingredients out first, but I could have just started this in one bowl and done the whole thing in one bowl, So then I am just going to add the zest of a lemon. Always buy unwaxed lemons, otherwise you're eating waxed zest of lemon, which nobody needs in their bellies. And then I'm going to put the juice of half a lemon into the mixture, and then I'm going to keep half back that I will use. I'll mix the juice of half a lemon with about 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. I just sling it in, granulated sugar, and then give that a blitz in the microwave for about a minute so that the sugar sort of isn't completely dissolved, but dissolved enough. Just got one pip in there that's escaping me, of course. There we are. So that's the juice of half a lemon going in there. Mix that in. What I do like about these double air fryers is that, as you've seen me do before, you can actually cook 2 cakes at the same time, or you can cook your vegetables in one half while you've got the meat in the other half, whichever way you're doing it. So I've lined it with one of my liners from B&M, I think. They're so cheap. Just pop that in there. Now, I tend to cook everything on air fry. There are loads of different options, but I'll be honest and say I haven't really noticed a difference. So I don't think these machines are terribly sophisticated. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it is my motto. So this is my double drawer air fryer. Very simple to operate. Turn it on and you can see it gives you the left and the right. Obviously you can use them both together, or you can just use one at a time. You can also see that the lights on in each side. So I am going to use the left. Simply put the cake into the left hand side and shut the drawer, and then I will press left. I will change the temperature down to 175 and I will take the time up to 30 and then press start. If you change the settings at all, you do have to press start again, or the revised settings, they'll just revert back to the default. And then if you want to look inside at any point, the light's on there, and turn that off again. And it's as easy as that. It really is. They're brilliant. I use it. In fact, I get a bit cross because we tend not to put it away. We keep it in the utility room, but quite often we've just got it here on the worktop because we use it so much. Don't know what we did before them really. Ran up huge electricity bills, but then it wasn't so expensive. Those were the days. So this is my chef-free double drawer air fryer. Finally, it's these 2 pieces that I got in the charity shop, which obviously, you know, is great because the money's going to charity. So, you know, these people are so good giving up their time to work in these shops. This is a black jumper. This is Marks and Spencer's. This is a size 16. It was £6, and the skirt is brand new from Marks and Spencer's as well, and it was £10. And I do not think that you would think that my outfit had cost me just £16. remember seeing this skirt in the shop, you know, and wondering whether to buy it or not. So it just goes to show there are things out there that you can pick up. I think it's just a case of you have to keep looking, really. But I think this skirt is really nice, and you could wear this all year round, really. I think it looks nice with a black jumper, but it could be with a black t-shirt, a red jumper, red t-shirt. So it's got the little fixed waistband here, and then it's elasticated round, so it's as comfortable as anything. This is an 18, and as I say, the jumper is a 16. Doesn't smell weird. I didn't wash it or anything. I'm kind of, you know, I'm not licking it, so I don't really care. And I think this is a very flattering neckline, this cowl neck. I hope you maybe get some ideas about ways to save money that you wouldn't have had, or you didn't know already. Let's just say it like that. So thanks as ever for watching, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.